All right, so how do you find horizontal asymptotes? So this one's not too bad. You look at the highest power of the top and the bottom, and you ask yourself, what is the highest power of the top and bottom? And then once you kind of establish that relationship, that tells you where to go next. So the highest exponent here, the degree of the top is 2, the degree of the bottom is 2. And which one's higher, top or bottom? This was a tie. So when it's a tie, here's how it works. It's a tie, the horizontal asymptote, it's going to be y equals, for horizontal asymptote, y equals is a horizontal line, by the way. And it's a tie, you take the leading coefficient of the top divided by the leading coefficient of the bottom. So I take the leading coefficient of the top is 9, leading coefficient of the bottom is 3. So y equals 3. So when it's a tie, you take the leading coefficient of the top divided by the leading coefficient of the bottom. And you do that, it'd be y equals that. The top on this one has a power of 1. The bottom has a power of 2. Which one has a higher power, the top or the bottom? The bottom has a higher power on this one. So when the bottom has a higher exponent, what's the horizontal asymptote? When the bottom's bigger, it's always y equals 0. So when the bottom's bigger, it's always y equals 0. Has higher power. Okay, just trying to do it as best I can here. On the next one, which one has a higher power, the top or the bottom? The top has a power of 3, bottom has a power of 2. So which one has a higher power? The top. The top has a higher power. So what happens when the top has a higher power? Well, there's no horizontal asymptote. Okay. So the top has a higher power, no horizontal asymptote. So it's going to be one of these three scenarios. If it's a tie, you do y equals the leading coefficient of the top divided by the leading coefficient of the bottom. If the bottom is bigger, it's going to be the horizontal asymptotes y equals 0. If the top has a higher power, then there's no horizontal asymptote.